They're open 24/7, 365 days a year. America's go-to pit stops. Catering to our cravings. Quenching our thirst. But behind the coffee, sodas, snacks, and dogs, there's more going on than you think. These retail powerhouses take in one of every $23 spent each day in the U.S. They're built for speed.
We like to keep the customers between like a 2.5 minute and 3.5 minute transaction.
They're designed to manipulate.
There's a lot of opportunity to impulse guests into buying something that they weren't thinking about when they came in the front door.
They're constantly on guard.
You announce your presence very subtly that says, we're watching.
And they're equipped to stop crime. Now, settle in with your favorite snack or beverage as we take you deep inside the convenience store on Modern Marvels. By 6 a.m. each weekday morning, at over 144,000 convenience stores across America, it's 0 hour. Display cases are packed. Shelves stocked. Coffee dispensers filled. Time for the onslaught. The next 3 hours will be the busiest in the convenience store's day. And to maximize sales, they must have what the customer wants.
I usually coffee and bagel. That's usually what I get in the morning to wake me up.
When I come here each time, I usually buy coffee.
Convenience store is always coffee.
During the morning rush, convenience stores coast to coast sell over 11 million cups of coffee. And with it, millions of donuts, bagels, muffins, and breakfast biscuits. Americans spend 1 out of every $23 in convenience stores each day. That adds up to $1.7 billion every 24 hours. And the main reason is because convenience stores are fast. The average visit takes 3.5 minutes.
Have a great day, guys.
Compared with 41 minutes at a typical grocery store, selling the same types of products. By 7 a.m. at the 7-Eleven in East Patchogue on New York's Long Island, the morning rush is in full swing. The store is one of the busiest in the 7-Eleven chain. But customers here aren't only buying breakfast, they're buying time.
We like to keep the customers between like a 2.5 minute and 3.5 minute transaction from the time they walk in to the time they leave.
Everybody's very fast here.
As soon as you get to the counter, they ring you up and you're out of here.
No matter what it is, you're always out, in and out, so.
We take speed for granted at convenience stores. But there's a science to moving customers in and out in 3.5 minutes or less. And if anyone knows how to do it, it's architect Joseph Bona. He's been designing convenience stores for over 30 years and always begins at the same place.
The successful development of any store starts with the layout.
Regardless of a convenience store's size, the layout divides the space into 3 zones, and each has a specific purpose. The first is at the store's entrance, which Bona calls the decompression zone.
This is the area where people need to just take a second, get their bearings from the outside to the inside, and be able to see everything.
While it might not seem important, the first moments in the decompression zone can make or break the convenience store shopping experience.
People buy with their eyes, and they eat with their eyes. Having the layout be presented in a way where it's easy for them to find things is really, really critical.
From the decompression zone, customers enter the next and most highly designed part of the store, the impulse zone.
In this area are the things that every consumer that comes in that front door is going to be exposed to on the way in and on the way out. Things like coffee, like bakery, like sandwiches. We want those really up front. We want that to be in the main flow. We want people to see that all the time.
In convenience stores, the self-serve coffee island is a high-traffic area engineered for speed. The East Patchogue 7-Eleven is no exception. The store sells about 1,500 cups of coffee a day, 800 cups during the 3-hour morning rush. That's nearly 20% of its business. The secret is to keep customers moving.
It's like a production line. Somebody comes in, they want to grab a cup, they want to be able to get their coffee, and then move away. We want to clear them away from the coffee so the next guest can come in, grab a cup, and grab a coffee.
As the customers work through the impulse zone, they pass through aisles designed to induce additional purchases.
There's a lot of opportunity to impulse guests into buying something that they weren't thinking about when they came in the front door. One of the important things is putting like things together. We want to take the thinking away from guests. When people come in, what makes a convenience store fast and efficient is that we take some of that decision-making away. It's easy. I can get my coffee, I can grab a bagel, I can grab a muffin, and it's all within arm's reach.
The last zone in the layout is on the periphery of the space and serves customers looking for specific merchandise. It's called the destination zone.
People do come into a convenience store for particular things in mind. And it might be something like an aspirin, a gift card, a newspaper, for example. When I get my morning paper, I don't necessarily have to have this up front in the most accessible place because I'm coming in specifically with this purchase in mind. That's a planned purchase. I could have that in a little further area of the store only because I'm going to go there anyway.
One mainstay in the destination zone is the beverage cooler, which is deliberately placed in the back of the store.
We're seeing a bigger trend in convenience stores where a third of our sales come from the cooler. We like to put that at the furthest point away from the door, primarily because that drives people through the store.
And as these destination zone shoppers navigate the store to the checkout, they run a gauntlet of temptations. Designers also direct traffic in other ways, using tricks as simple as the placement of a door hinge to lead customers toward the impulse zone.
If you think about the way a door is hinged and the body movement and the reaction of people to doors, it's important to know that there's subtle little movements that could cause people to walk one way or another way. So if I'm walking down an aisle in this direction and I open my door and I grab a drink and I walk away, I'm almost forced to move in the same direction in which I just came. Whereas if the door was hinged on this side and I open the door and I grab a drink, as I close the door, I'm more likely to take my first step in the opposite direction of which I came. So there's little things like that in which we use the cooler to help move people in a different direction.
The end point of the customer's 3.5-minute visit is the checkout counter. People who buy with their eyes face a final enticement, the hot food service and a bevy of impulse snacks.
People here who might want to buy a hot dog or a hot sandwich, you know, only natural that you might want to grab a bag of chips at the same time. And even as we go to the checkout counter, maybe a little candy or a little something sweet on the way out. So these are all the little cues that we're trying to do to give people an extra little moment to think about another little purchase, get them enticed to make to pick something else up.
But getting customers to make another purchase is only part of the battle in the convenience store business. Keeping stores efficient and profitable means replacing inventory quickly. Recent developments in computer technology have produced a handheld device that cuts reordering time in half while making it more accurate.
We do item-by-item management. We have a unit that's the merchandising ordering terminal. We refer to as the MOT.
With the MOT, employees can capture store inventory data and place resupply orders immediately without waiting until the end of the day or the week.
We take an inventory on what's on hand, we plug it into the unit, we make a forecast of what we think we're going to sell, and the MOT does the math and creates the order per item.